Hi everybody, and welcome to Garden Style. Well, today I decided to add on one more chapter to my conifer talk from my last video, as I found two or three here that I really wanted to talk about, and then we'll get into broadleaf evergreens in upcoming videos. But the one I really wanted to discuss with you today is this little character right here, and if I step out of the way you'll be able to see kind of its serpentine shape that it has. And this particular guy is what we call a weeping Atlas blue cedar. And as you notice, it has needles on it, so it's not like your typical flat leaf cedar that most people think of. This is actually a true Atlas blue cedar, and this is a weeping version. And a lot of growers will take these and actually train them into a serpentine shape. And the coolest thing about this particular tree is that it has a really neat weeping shape to it, and it continues to grow in kind of a serpentine shape. So a lot of them will train them on a stake like you see here, and then later you can train them across, you know, a roof line if you wanted to, a fence line, or on a trellis. And then they get these long branches that just kind of hang down very much like a curtain. And I'll kind of give you an idea of an older tree in the picture down below, to give you an idea of what they can look like in about 20-30 years from now. But they're one of my favorites because they're very sculptural, and definitely a specimen plant that you want to put in a real special place out in the yard. And with cedars, as with any cedar, they actually prefer a slightly acidic soil. They demand very good drainage. You want to make sure you dig a hole deep enough for them. And then play with them a little bit. I definitely encourage you to go online, look up some pictures, and see what folks have done with their weeping blue cedars. They've trained them along railings and all sorts of things, but once they get big enough and old enough, they have a curtain of their own with their draping branches. So it just sets them aside and makes them very, very unique, and something that I always want to have on hand here at the nursery, as they've become very popular, especially in recent years as more and more people are learning about them. Now, I had a lot of suggestions from my last video to talk about a couple of evergreens that would actually be small or dwarf size. So I chose a couple here, and this first one that I'm going to talk about is a Cypress. This is a miniature version, but you can see that he has yellow specks as well as the green in his leaves. And he's evergreen, so he's going to look like this year round. And I purchased a bunch of these because I was just fascinated, not only with their color, but their shape. And it'll make a beautiful evergreen, and these will only get 24 to 30 inches high. So you could plant these in a row and create like a real small hedge with them, or put them out in your landscape to create some extra color and a little more variety out in the garden. And of course they require full sun, really good drainage, and most of these are extremely hardy. This one is hardy down to zone 4 to zone 9. So no worries there as far as frost is concerned. And yeah, I just thought this was a really interesting one with all its yellow mixed in with the green. Kind of a variegation in it. Just to add a little more interest and a little more whimsy to the garden. And then another one I wanted to talk about is this guy. And this is a beautiful pine. It's a short version, and they describe him as a blue shag eastern white pine. And it's not really white, but it has more of a blue-green shape to it, and the needles on them are super soft, really soft. And they kind of just get this fluffy, shaggy kind of look to them out in the garden. And I love them for their texture. They're great to mix in with other plants. And this guy will get 2, maybe 4 feet tall. And they're super easy to keep low. I like these kind of clumps. You know, it's good to plant these in like 3s or 5s and take up a corner with them rather than trying to roll them all up on the edge, and they'll really show off their shaggy appearance. And I'm trying to see how wide these guys get. Oh, about as wide. So they get about 2 to 4 feet tall and just about as wide. So if you've got an area where you need some low growers, or you need something in the front of the garden, this is a fabulous specimen for that. And of course it's evergreen. It'll hold on to its needles as opposed to leaves. So this guy, being he's an evergreen dwarf, he's extremely hardy, down to minus 40 degrees. So those of you who live in the Midwestern states and areas where it gets really, really cold in the winter, this is your guy right here, this little evergreen blue shag pine. And I'll pick them up a little bit just so to give you an idea kind of what their initial shape is. But yeah, so they'll get pretty good size and probably about this high. So these are excellent as lower growers out in the garden. But those are two specimens that I definitely wanted to talk about today with you guys. So as we're starting to get closer into the holidays and Christmas, I thought it'd be a really good idea in my next video to go over some evergreens that can be used indoors, not only as live Christmas trees, but also as giveaways. If you want to give a gift to someone that's live, that they can plant out in their garden. I have a beautiful variety of plants I'm going to talk about in my next video. That's going to include your Alberta Spruce, lemon Cypress, and of course all the different varieties of live trees that you can bring inside and use for your Christmas tree inside. I just recommend, if you're going to go with a live tree for Christmas, you only want it in your house a week, maybe 2 weeks tops, as it's just too warm and too dry in our homes to bring them in. But if you're okay with that, then by the time Christmas is over, you can just plant it right outside and have yourself a living specimen that used to be your Christmas tree indoors. And this idea is becoming more and more popular with people. And in my next video, I'm also going to mention some unusual varieties where you can kind of think outside of the box of your traditional type of Christmas tree if you're looking for something a little different to put out in your yard later on, and just utilize it as your Christmas tree during the holiday season. Okay, I'm going to give you a few little quick clips here towards the end of this video to give you an idea of what we're up to on the inside of our nursery, primarily our gift shop. And I'll give you a little glimpse there, and I'll certainly put out a full-on video as to what our shop looks like for the holidays, as it has hit us big time with our live wreaths, trees, and of course fresh cut trees that we're offering for the season. It's a little chilly out here this morning. It's about 40 degrees. So surprised I'm not seeing my breath right now. And it's very foggy today. But overall, we've had amazing weather here in the Northwest. And that's been good for business here in the nursery. So glad to finally get back in touch with you guys. Needless to say, it has been the big push over the last 2 to 3 weeks to get ready for the holidays. And now here we are. I can't believe it. It's happened so fast. And I also thought I'd mention that I've just recently celebrated my first year anniversary, which was November 7th, for being in business here for about a year. So I'm excited. I not only survived, but I learned an awful lot this past year. And I certainly hope to teach you guys more and more about plants and different specimens, and of course what we do here at the nursery to get ready for our guests who come in to visit and look for plants. So, second busiest season has hit, and I'm looking forward to doing some more videos with you, weather permitting, outside. Otherwise, I may have to take all this inside, depending on whether it's raining or not. But so far, so good. All right, you guys, glad to be back in touch. Of course, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me at gardenstylenw.com on my website, or send me an email at gardenstylenwest@gmail.com. And I definitely encourage you to go to our Sunnycrest website, the nursery that I own, which is sunnycrestnursery.com. It is loaded with classes and events that we're putting on for the month of December. And of course, introducing new specimens, sales, and all sorts of other fun stuff that we've got lined up for holidays. All right, you guys, hope you had a fabulous turkey day, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.